Namaste, yogis. Alicia here. And today we're talking about how the system is set up for yoga teachers to fail. Unfortunately, the way that the yoga industry has been created was not created by independent yoga teachers. So it was created by yoga teachers who own studios and yoga teachers or business owners who own gyms. And they saw a way to make a lot of money and pay yoga teachers a minimum payment. And by minimum payment, like legit, some places that I've seen, they pay like $25 an hour, or they pay like, I don't know. The highest I've ever seen in a studio setting has been like 40, 45 for just a flat rate. And after that, there's a lot of negotiation that a teacher can do after, a certain amount of experience or, other different leverages that you have as a, maybe an influencer or some other things. So, or just maybe just a popular teacher that a lot of people come to class, then there's some ability there to leverage and to possibly get paid per student. Other than that, it's pretty much set up so that there's a flat fee. And in the studios and in the gym settings, they usually want you to be there before the class time starts, and they want you to stay after the class is over. And both of those are to connect with students, to, troubleshoot any technical difficulties, be ready, and then afterward to connect and answer questions and all of that. And so it ends up, if you have a 15-minute prior and a 15-minute following window that they ask you to abide by, then it ends up being an hour and a half for $25 or an hour and a half for $45. And while that may seem by itself like a pretty good number, teaching yoga isn't the type of thing that you do 40 hours a week. So while it may seem to translate, in the long term, it doesn't really add up. And trust me, I have tried it. Okay, I used to teach 20 hours a week because I thought, I came from a 40-hour work week. So teaching 20 hours, that's no big deal. Got it. Let me get these coins. And I found myself getting burnt out. I found myself feeling uninspired. I found myself feeling physical pain, stress, and it was just like I was always either coming from yoga or going to teach yoga. And honestly, that's not what I desire for my life. However, there are times where it's really good to do this type of maneuvering in your yoga business. And I would say the best time to do that type of teaching could be at the beginning of your teaching with intention. So you're not just teaching all willy-nilly because you just want to teach. I mean, if it's paying the bills and that's what you need to do, so be it. However, knowing that you're using this as a chance to practice, to hone your message, to hone your skills, to practice your sequencing, to get more comfortable in front of people, to gain confidence. There are so many reasons why teaching a lot in a short period of time can be really beneficial, even though there may be some if you're thinking about doing it for more than 2 years, it may not be sustainable. And especially with family and different types of obligations, you want to be able to live life and not just always be at the studio, because typically classes will be, at times where it'd be before, it just depends. And I've seen a lot of classes in the AM and then in the after work times or even in the midday times to accommodate for the traditional work schedule. May have changed, it just depends on the times. And still, if you're going to have a goal in your mind, hey, I'm going to teach 1,000 classes and then I'm going to do XYZ, or I'm going to teach 1,000 classes to get experience, and then that's going to set me up for, leading workshops or, whatever, continuing education, whatever you're going to do. Just have a plan. Have a plan. One of the ways, so funny, I feel like I've told this story to y'all maybe before, And I thought of this in a different way, so I'm going to give it to you a little bit taste again. When I was teaching, I started to notice that I wasn't really being able to have access to my audience when I taught at a studio setting. And the particular studios that I worked with, there weren't a lot of us. And it's cool, like, you know, I love teaching yoga. It gave me a great basis and foundation, a great chance to practice, a great chance to mess up, a great chance to learn a shit ton of shit about teaching yoga, and to also be in a community where I did a lot of trainings. I did my advanced teacher training, all of that in that same community. So there was a lot of support there. And then when I saw a need to create more teachers of color, I branched off in that area, and that was where I specialized. And so becoming a teacher trainer is just one area of specialty. And I particularly focused in on alignment-based yoga in the yoga teacher training. However, there are people out there, you don't ever have to be a teacher trainer to host events, to make money, and to make something that's sustainable, financially sustainable. There we go. So for example, if you think about a doctor, so I would the word I was about to say was equivalent. Oh, my mother used to be like grammar police on me. So like that immediately came in my head. I would equate teaching yoga to being a doctor. So just humor me for a moment. So I'm a yoga teacher, and then you have this other person, they're a doctor. And so it's like, okay, well, I teach yoga to people who have bodies. And then this person's like, well, I practice general medicine to people who have bodies. There is a different type of focus that it takes to be a specialist. There's a different level of even co-pays, or like you may need referrals to get to that person. Like you would say, oh, okay, there's something going on with my wrist. I want to go to I don't know if it's a wrist doctor, a wrist specialist, but you get what I'm saying? Like you're going to specifically need that specialist as opposed to wanting to go to the general, everybody who has a body doctor. So in yoga, we have the same thing. There are, people who are pregnant with preeclampsia. There are people who, are first-time dads who are stressed out. There's different ways that you can specialize, that you can hone in and really make it something that you can focus your energy on. And when you focus your energy on a small group, something that seems small, you grow and you attract more people. Because if there's a new dad community or like a dog moms of Houston with natural hair who drive Jeeps, like, that's a really very specific thing. I'm going to pay attention to that as opposed to just like, oh, yoga. No, it's like yoga for women of color with fros and pit bulls. And it's like, okay. And this concept can be really challenging. So if it's not quite landing, that's okay. It is okay to not be sure on where you want to specialize. Just know that even listening to this is going to start to get your wheels turning. Like, who do I serve? Not only who do I serve, because it might not be your actual person who you desire to serve. But thinking about when I help people in yoga classes, what person, if I can think of one person that I just so excited, it could be no other people in the class. If this one person came, I'm excited they're there, I'm satisfied, I'm fulfilled, all of that. Who is that person? And pick out little specific things about that person to help you get clear on who that is. Because when you are sharing your message out into the world, there's a lot of fucking people in this world. So simplify your audience. So like, get rid of all the people who have bodies. Just that's not the qualification. Let's look at something very specific. And so that is Because of the gym and the studio structure, yoga teachers didn't have to think that. Yoga teachers weren't taught about this, about specializing, about really taking an intention in who you desire to serve, as opposed to like, oh, can you teach this class at this time on this day? And so it's a completely different dynamic. And in order to really tap into the abundance that's possible in the yoga industry, it's important that you shift your perspective away from the limiting beliefs that have been introduced in the yoga community and sustained over decades. And I'm gonna leave you with that because we get real deep real quick if I talk too much on this topic. And I will be teaching you how to niche down, how to get a micro niche, how to specialize as a yoga teacher. I'm gonna guide your thoughts in that space. So if you want to join, there's a challenge going on, the free 5-day virtual yoga event challenge. It is specially for yoga teachers. I've also had people who aren't yoga teachers sign up for the challenge. I've also had people who aren't women, aren't yoga queens sign up for the challenge. That's cool. And I'm specifically feel called to create this for yoga teachers who have a desire to help people. So if that's you and you're not already in the challenge, go to the caption. If you haven't missed this, like hop on it. Go to the caption, sign up for the challenge. And if you're watching this video like way after the challenge actually is going on, go and find me on Instagram, find my website, connect with me, and I'm sure I'll have something going on because this is what I'm passionate about. I love to see yoga teachers win. I made 6 figures in 10 months, and I'm not being stingy. I'm not bragging because I'm showing you how. I'm showing you the techniques. You don't have to go and learn to be a yoga teacher trainer in order to make money. You just need to shift your perspective and tap into abundance that is already here and accessible all around you in this existence. With that being said, I am Alicia, the official yoga queen, and I will see you in the next video because the mission is always world peace through inner peace. Namaste.